Hello guys. Today let's talk about China. As I said in my previous video, I had an exchange year in China, and I've I went back to China like in the beginning of this month, actually in December 2018, and I was in China in 2005 and 2006, and for a long time I hadn't come back. It was like more than 10 years, I think 13 years maybe, without going back to see China, to see how the country was again. And the country has changed so much. Uh, Meanwhile, while I was in Brazil, I was like watching videos on YouTube, watching videos on the internet, and reading articles about China, and they were always telling the same, like the country has changed, the technology, the infrastructure, everything. And I saw it with my own eyes. And the country is so different. Like in 2000, I'm from Brazil, as I told you guys in my previous video, and Brazil is not a rich country. We don't have the same infrastructure than America or Europe or even Japan. Uh, we have some cultural issues like people litter, they throw trash on the street, they do lots of things that when people come to visit, they see and they criticize. We Brazilians criticize it ourselves too. And when I went to China in 2005 and 2006, we could say that China was not a rich country. We could say that China was like a developing country, just like Brazil. So I kind of felt at home. I mean, I knew that they were becoming richer every day because everyone was talking about how Chinese economy was growing and growing and growing. And but I remember to see things like lots of trash on the street, lots of poor people on the streets sitting on the sidewalks asking for money. I remember a guy kneeling on the floor. He wrote in Chinese, asking for money to study because he didn't have money. Uh, Even some crazy things like people selling limbs, like arms and legs. I never went deeper to try to understand that or why that thing existed, but I remember that. I remember even like the mothers. Maybe it still happens today. I mean, I don't know all of China, and I haven't been living there for a long time. But I remember things like the mothers. They had their kids uh, in their arms, and then when their kids wanted to poop, you could see in the back of their pants there was like a hole, so the kid could poop, without taking the clothes off. So the kid would poop on the sidewalk. The mothers would take like a dustpan and take the poop and put it into a plastic bag and tie it and go and throw in a in a trash can, like a little dog, like you do with your dog. And then I went to China again, and I don't see that anymore. At least in the big cities, I went to one city in the interior, the city I used to live. That was not a big one, was not a capital or anything. But even that town, let's call that town, even that town was a little bit different. So everything was so clean. We could see technology everywhere. People using WeChat to pay stuff, not using money or even credit cards. You can, it's like you can rent anything. You can rent bikes, you can rent power banks for your cell phone, you can rent umbrellas. Like when you step out of the subway, the metro, you see those umbrellas, and they are inside they're inside. There is something on the floor, and they're all inside there. And you take your cell phone with your WeChat or Alipay or anything, and you use your QR code to pay, and then you take off the umbrella and use it, and then you can just give it back in the next station, or you can go back there and give it back. So also the buildings. I remember those old buildings, those grayish buildings around. They seem to be very old, and now you don't see them anymore. Only modern buildings. But I remember that when I was there in 2005 and 2006, they were building everywhere. It's like you could close your eyes and look around, you'd see a construction site. Then you walk a few kilometers and then open your eyes again, you would see a construction site. They were constructing everywhere. And maybe the result is what I saw, what everybody's seeing now. So some people, they have this prejudice like, China is old, and because people watch kung fu movies and think China is that, or things like, China is a communist country and they don't have any development. But it's not like that. If you go to China, you will see what I'm talking about. Of course, there is a politics and it's a complicated thing. Although I don't agree with the CCP. The CCP basically is the Chinese Communist Party. I may not agree with them. I may not agree that much with Chinese politics, but China is not only the politics. That's what some people don't get about China. It's not like you can breathe or can do anything and you don't have any freedom. Actually, you have a lot of freedom in China. For example, in America, you can drink alcohol outside, and maybe you can do, at least I saw people doing in China. It's not a crime or anything. And what about the internet? They can't use things like Facebook and Google and the Facebook subsidiaries like Instagram and WhatsApp. But the Chinese internet is huge. Believe me, it's huge. And they have lots of social media websites and apps like WeChat, Weibo, Sina, Renren, and a few other ones you don't remember right now. And so it's not like they don't have internet, they don't have freedom and all that. Okay, maybe you cannot say bad things about the government. And if you go there, don't try to get into this politics stuff. Like, what do you think about the government? I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that. Don't do that. Try to avoid that. But besides that, it's like being in any other country. You know, you talk to people, Chinese people are so friendly. Some of them will ask to take pictures with you. It was like that in 2005, it is still like that now. Maybe because China was isolated from the West for a long time, like back then, when the communism, this Soviet thing was still a thing. So, but it's so because of that, maybe other people or people from the interior, some of them have never seen a foreigner before. So when they see you, they look at you and they turn their heads looking at you, just out of curiosity. And sometimes they want to take pictures with you so they can show their families that they saw a foreigner. And you shouldn't be offended by that. They are really trying to be friendly. Sometimes, especially in Beijing and maybe Shanghai, some scammers, they will come to you and try to talk in English. But sometimes a person will come to you and talk in English just because he or she wants to practice their English. And if you ask for directions, they are so friendly. If you can speak some Chinese, they help you. If you can't, they get their cell phones and put a translator on, and they put the cell phone in your mouth so you can say in English, and they can help you. They go out of their ways to help you. Like you want to know where you can buy tickets for the train, because you can't buy the machine since you don't have a Chinese ID, so you have to buy in the ticket counter. And then they go to the ticket counter with you, and it happened to me. Like it's been a long time I don't go to China, so I don't remember exactly anymore where the train station was. When I got there, it wasn't like it was before. So I tried to buy in the automatic machines, but you need like a Chinese ID. Of course I don't have one, so I asked the guy and he took me there. I could see that he was in a hurry because the way he was looking and the way he was moving, and then he went out of his way all the way to the ticket counter to show me where I could buy the tickets. So China is not only the CCP, China is not only the politics. I know there is this thing like America versus China going on, um, all this nationalism going on everywhere, the issues that are going on in Hong Kong right now. Uh, but don't think that your experience in China will be less enjoyable just because of that. If you want to go to China, and if you are going to China, or if you're about to go to China right now, go with an open mind. Go there and talk to people on the streets. If you can speak some Chinese and want to practice it, go for it. Ask for information in Chinese. Talk to the taxi drivers. The taxi drivers, they are so they seem to be so excited when you talk to them in Chinese. And if you can only speak English, and maybe the staff at the hotel can speak English too, and you can use your cell phone to translate, or they can use their cell phone to translate too. And I'm sure that your experience will be nice if you have this open mind, if you don't go there thinking about politics. Uh, if you're into history, you find a lot of historical places in China. If you're into Chinese cuisine, you'll find a lot of nice food to eat. So that's what I have to say about China, about the experience I had more than 10 years ago, more than a decade ago, and the experience I had like a few months ago going there. The China that was still starting to develop, and the China that's so developed now with all the technology and stuff, is not a perfect country, of course, but you see what I'm talking about, and you will see people so friendly that I think that that's the best thing. The best thing you remember about China is that the people. Um because it's the best thing you remember about any country. The food may be good, the historical place may be nice, the landscape may seem beautiful, but the people are the best. And Chinese people are so nice. I made so many friends in China, and I had so much help when I needed from my teachers when I was studying there, my classmates, from the taxi drivers when I was a tourist like this time. And even my wife, she was like, nah, I'm going to China, really. And now she can stop talking about China. Like, we came back in January. We're now in September, and she's still talking about it. She says sometimes she dreams about it, about China. So that's it. I hope what I've said about China maybe enlighten you a bit. If you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, tell me in the comments why you didn't like it. Okay guys, so that's it. Bye.